Hello team and welcome back to another Line War cast. This is your map today in a 1v1 between Animorph in blue and akamisc in red. This is from the quarterfinals of the T2 2024 tournament that's going on right now. Both players are going to spawn on the bigger landmass on the left hand side of the map. Notice that's there's more land here on the right hand side, but I believe there's actually more economy with these different towns on the left hand side. In these split map sort of situations where there's two big landmasses, you generally want to take the one that has more eco. As the game goes on, you just make more money and then you outpace your opponent that way. But in this game, both players starting on the top left. It'll be important for both players to actually stay alive on this island, otherwise they'll have to go over to the right hand side and then try to attempt to take this island back, is my guess. And when I say my guess, I usually don't watch the replays in advance, and the result is always surprising to me. But in this game, the replay length was so long that I decided to take a look, and I think the game was really good. So I wanted to showcase it here. Both players kind of grouping up in front of akamisc's main base. And now the big fight happens. AK should have enough to take this, regardless of whether blue digs in time or not. And so for now, AK pushes back blue. Both players on relatively similar amounts of production. And both players on one refinery. There's a commando drop that's landing in the bottom right and a barracks for akamisc. So red is the first to invest on the right hand side. And a commando drop from red as well that will destroy the refinery, so blue's helicopters are going to have to sit down for a little bit until this refinery for blue in the forest is up and generating energy. Blue's still not on the right hand side, but there is a transport plane on blue's airport, so the plan for Animorph is to send commandos over to the right hand side. Good amount of SAMs for Animorph, those 3 SAMs. I believe they took down 2 interceptors. It's impossible to tell on 8 times speed, but that's part of the fun of this. A main fight in this open field, and then also this kind of side quest for both players in the mountain range and the forest. This is a lot of good defensive terrain for blue, so if Animorph ever needs to back up here, it'll be difficult for red to actually push through that mountain range because that defender's bonus. And on the right hand side, 4 commandos landed for blue. It's a factory and 2 barracks for red. And Animorph builds more production in the center of this field by this refinery location. Income-wise, we're not even going to try to check. We need the replay interface for this. There's a good mix of SAMs on the top side of the map here on the left, so the planes for red can't really get used. The commando drop right on the airport doesn't quite succeed for Animorph. It's a great idea though. We might even see another drop. I guess the 2 transport planes went down. And this is part of the joy of the 8 times speed. Both players have just decided to dig in the mountain range and not try to push. And then on the right hand side, an airport and another factory for akamisc, and a dig in from Animorph to try to stay on that landmass. It won't really matter if red loses this base. Even if red wins on the right hand side of the map, it'll just give so much eco for blue. And we can actually check it. It's 620 for red, or 620 for blue and 940 for red, so AKA has a huge income lead. I thought I wouldn't mess up the names, but of course I do, as I always do between akamisc and Animorph for whatever reason. And this is not looking good for red. It looks like AK is going to be knocked off of this landmass. Certainly will take a lot of damage here. AK is doing a great job to hold on by getting these artillery pieces in the entrenchments. But it's just so much for blue. And AK is building barracks in the back, but it's not really clear that it's going to be enough. Blue might actually be able to destroy these barracks before any meaningful amount of units are produced. And Animorph's still holding on here, not for long now that these red helicopters are getting in the mix. And on the main fight, all across the front, blue is just winning here. Good mix of SAMs. There's not really that many helicopters left for AK. There's now 1. And so now if we go top down, this is what the map looks like. Income-wise, 1110 for AK and 710 for Animorph, but all of the momentum is for Animorph here, and a lot of the red territory is being taken back. Red rebuilt an airport in the back, but it's going to be destroyed. It's just such a large army for blue. It's very difficult to stop that. So at this point in the game, red is on the right-hand side. Blue is pretty much locked down the entire left-hand side. Sub-pen for Animorph in the north. And good defense from Animorph as well on this landing attempt from AK. AK goes up to 4 docks. It's actually 5 docks because this town and this port in the bottom, there's this dock right beside it. And a sub-pen in the north for akamisc as well. Top down, total split map situation. The eco's 10-10 for blue and 12-18 for red, so akamisc still making more economy, but as these towns and ports get set up for Animorph, that income should balance out. It's now 2 sub-pens for Animorph. I personally super dislike subs, not because I think they're bogus or anything, but playing against subs I really don't like. It's a good reminder to myself to make more submarines. Extremely expensive loss of helicopters there. I think like 7 helicopters went down. It's going to be a sub-on-sub fight in the north between the 2 players, but it's 2 sub-pens versus 1 sub-pen and some destroyers for akamisc, and the submarines can take those all out very easily. Red's definitely committing to this landing. I think it's probably the right call. Usually, it's the earlier you can go across to try to get to your opponent's landmass, the better, so that blue can't just build up a huge defensive force. That airport gets sniped. Nice drop attempt from akamisc. Doesn't quite get the refinery. And now 4 SAMs dig in for Animorph. Here's a rocket. Going to be very important for red to be able to destroy that. It's going to be very difficult for red to destroy that because, as you can see, blue just moves all the production to deal with the landing. Nice play from AK to go around the defensive line and potentially destroy this refinery, but Animorph has the good reaction time to deal with the attack. Something that red is... It's always the case in a navy game, but it's very precarious when you have big navies fighting each other. If you lose your entire navy, then your opponent can just roll up to the shore, destroy all your docks, and any other like critical infrastructure that is on the coast, like that town that's been destroyed. Income-wise, 1273 for AK and 1218 for Animorph. But Animorph does have this rocket, which can be a huge difference. A lot of cruisers for blue, so in a straight up fight, the cruisers are definitely going to win against any other types of boat. And red has 1 airport still. 2 airports rather, this one with all these transport planes. We'll see those commandos get dropped somewhere at some point. Nice attack from AK to destroy 2 of the sub-pens. And the rocket for blue is complete. I've been hit by a few rockets that have destroyed my entire navy in games. I think Infenzi has hit me with 2 or 3 by this point. Specifically, it seems to be always Infenzia who does it to me. We'll see if Animorph can do it to akamisc. And if this red navy just disappears somehow, as mentioned before, the blue navy can just start taking this fight and then potentially clean up all of these docks. In the bottom left, Animorph's held on, rebuilt those 2 submarine pens. And it's a big fight. AK does sort of okay, but there's so many submarines and enough missile boats that any of the planes that red tries to use are going to get shot down. And this is a whole bunch of bombers that Animorph is building. Good commando drop from akamisc that destroys one of the towns, and then also some of these commandos get loose and start building barracks in the forest. Here's these submarine pens, or rather these docks being destroyed, which gives blue like total naval supremacy. AK rebuilt some of the docks in the bottom. And more commando drops for AK. The 6 commandos get out. They don't get hit by the SAMs, or rather the SAMs don't destroy the transport planes. But in general, this looks very blue favored. 1108 income for blue, 1253 for red, but there's so many bombers, and there's more bombers on the way for Animorph as well. There's a little bit of a naval fight that's gearing up for the bottom left. All of the commandos for red have been destroyed at this point, the ones that set up that proxy base. And more docks for Animorph in the north as well. Navy in this sort of match is super important when the map splits like this. As you can see from the top-down view. It's actually probably better to watch the game on 8x speed in this view, really, when I think about it. There's no way that these submarine pens are going to stay up for long. One of the docks gets sniped. That's a nice play from akamisc. But red's going to have to make some sort of big play to turn this around. Because every time these bombers launch, they're just going to do so much damage. There's really not many boats, like missile boats or interceptors, that exist for akamisc. And the bomber count keeps growing. For blue, it's actually a really great spot to put these airports as well. In the pretty much the center of the map, they can reach tons of stuff on red-controlled territory. And you can see it's an hour 34 in the replay so far. And here comes 3 airports worth of bombers again. Once you get to this number of bombers, they can really deal with any amount of SAMs on the ground. Any amount, obviously not super true. If there was 60 SAMs, they can't, but any reasonable amount of SAMs, these bombers are going to be able to wipe them. Beep beep, indicating low energy for akamisc. So all of these boats, it's going to be very difficult to move them, but AK has already built all of the energy that can possibly be built, all of the refineries. Somehow Animorph had a barracks there. I have no idea how that happened. No way I would ever see it on 8x speed. Probably no way I'd see it on normal speed in the game. But GG, well played both. This game went to Animorph at the end there in that kind of massive stalemate. Very interesting game. You know, apologies that I don't cast it on 1x speed or even 2x speed. Or even 4x speed, really. 4x speed may be the best thing to do. Let me know in the comments what you think of that cast, and thanks for all the support on the channel, whether you like the videos, comment on them, just watching them in general, and of course subscribing. It all helps the channel grow. Thanks very much, folks. Enjoy. Have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Peace.